Hello, this is Mr. Chabry92, and I'm bringing you two battles in one video. So this is the Unova Classic. So my opponent has a Generation 1 only team, and my team is a Sandstorm team. So now the battle is going to begin, and my opponent starts off with Tentacruel, Charizard, and Alakazam, as I start off with my Landorus, my Hippowdon, and my Salamence. So now my Landorus is going to use its Intimidate to lower Charizard and Tentacruel's attack, whereas my Salamence is going to do the same thing on the Alakazam and the Charizard. So Charizard's attack has been lowered twice, and my Hippowdon is going to bring up some sand. So now I'm going to start off with a Rock Slide with the Landorus, and this is going to take out the Charizard, because Charizard can't take a rock move at all. So now Charizard is down. Salamence is just going to go for a Dragon Claw, and that's going to take out the Alakazam, since Alakazam's defense is really low. And now he's going to shoot off some Toxic Spikes. And then Hippowdon's also going to use Earthquake, and that doesn't affect my two flying types, and that's going to take out the Tentacruel. So the opponent didn't really do much there except set up spikes, and I wiped out his first three Pokemon without taking any damage except for the Sandstorm damage on Salamence. So now he's going to put in Raichu, Golem, and his Gengar. And Gengar is going to be the biggest threat to my team since Gengar has really high special attack. So I'm just going to go for Rock Slide again with Landorus, since Landorus has a Choice Scarf and he can't really change his move. My Salamence is going for Dragon Claw because he's holding a Choice Band, and that's going to be enough to take out the Gengar. Raichu is going to go for Thunderbolt against my Salamence, and Hippowdon is just going to go for the Earthquake once again, and that's going to be enough to take out the Raichu, but it won't be enough to take out the Golem. So now down goes the Raichu, and all the opponent has left is the Golem. And Golem's going to go for Earthquake, which is the only Pokemon on my side right now that can be damaged by that is Hippowdon. So now Salamence takes some more damage from the Sandstorm. Landorus is just going to go for Rock Slide again, and that's going to do just a little bit. Salamence is going to fire off a Dragon Claw even though he's out of range, and Hippowdon is going to finish up the Golem with an Earthquake. So that was a pretty quick battle there. The Generation 1 team didn't really do much. And now we're going to go into the second battle. So I'm using the same team, and my opponent has more diverse Pokemon now. He's got some Generation 5 Pokemon. He's got an Espeon, a Gyarados, and a Smeargle. So now I'm going to lead off with Salamence, Landorus, and Hippowdon once again. But this time Hippowdon's on the far right. He's going to start off with his Gyarados, his Smeargle, and his Clang. So now the Intimidate's going to lower Gyarados' attack, which is pretty important. But unfortunately Clang has the Clear Body, so the Intimidate's not going to do anything to Clang. So now Gyarados' Intimidate is going to lower the attack on my Landorus and my Hippowdon, which is very unfortunate since these two are physical attackers. My Hippowdon is going to summon the sand. I'm going to switch out my Hippowdon because I don't want to take a Dark Void from the Smeargle. I'm just going to send in my Rotom, and his Smeargle is just going to go for the Fake Out onto Landorus. My Salamence is going to go for the Dragon Claw, trying to get rid of the Smeargle before it can use like Dark Void or anything. And it's going to take it out. And he's going to go for a Dragon Dance, so that is very scary, especially with this Gyarados. And his Clang is going to set up with the Shift Gear. So both of his Pokemon have set up, and his Smeargle has fainted. So I don't know if his Smeargle had the Dark Void, but I'm glad he didn't go for it because that would have basically gave him the match pretty early on in the game. So now my Salamence and Rotom are going to take some Sandstorm damage as my Rotom gets some health back with the leftovers. And now he's going to put in his Superior. there's not really much I can do with the Superior. His Gyarados is going for the Ice Fang, and that's going to take out my Landorus. There's no way Landorus is living an Ice move. So Landorus goes down, and the Superior is going to go for Leaf Storm onto my Rotom. And that's going to take my Rotom down to 1 HP. So Rotom surviving that is big. And that will help with my Gyarados problem. And speaking of gear, Salamence gets a critical hit from the gear grind. So that's very unfortunate. I don't know if he would have been able to live it without the critical hit, but he took a lot of damage there. And I'm just going to go for the Volt Switch to rescue my Rotom, because I knew Rotom was going to probably take a lot of damage, and I want to keep my Rotom. So now I'm going to send in my Terrakion, even though Terrakion is threatened by this Superior. I'm going to also send in my Excadrill, since this is a Sandstorm team, and you can't have a Sandstorm team without Excadrill. He's going to send in his Espeon, and I'm going to send my Hippowdon back in. So my Excadrill is going for Metal Claw into Superior, trying to get some damage, and Excadrill gets the attack boost. His Superior is going to go for Leaf Storm again, and take out my Hippowdon. And the Superior is very scary, since it's got 4 special attack boosts. He goes for the Gear Grind against my Excadrill, and that's not going to do that much damage, because Excadrill resists the Gear Grind. And my Terrakion is going for Close Combat, trying to get rid of the Superior, and down goes the biggest threat on my opponent's team. So now the Superior goes down, and now my Terrakion is going to take a Psyshock from this Espeon. That's going to be enough to take it out. But Terrakion did his part in this battle, so that's pretty good. So now his Espeon is going to take some Sandstorm damage, and he's going to send in his Volcarona. And that Volcarona is very scary, so I'm going to go for the Rock Slide, trying to get rid of this Volcarona before it does any damage. And luckily, it's not holding a Focus Sash or anything, so it goes down. So that was a very scary Volcarona, especially with my Excadrill. His Klang's going to go for another Gear Grind. That's going to whittle down my Excadrill into the yellow. And now, his Espeon is going to finish off my Rotom with a Psyshock. So that's unfortunate that my Rotom didn't get to do much in this last turn that it was on the field. His Espeon is going to take some Sandstorm damage. Now my Excadrill is going to go for the Earthquake, and that's going to take out his Klang. So now it's just my Excadrill versus his Espeon, and his Espeon is going to go for the Wish to heal back up. There's not really much that Wish could do, since it would have to live this next turn, and now Excadrill fires off an Earthquake, which I was surprised that Excadrill was faster than the Espeon without the Sandstorm. So down goes the Espeon, and Excadrill is the last Pokemon standing. So if you like this battle, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next Pokemon battle.